In the vast tapestry of human history, some civilizations shine with a particular brilliance. They rise from the earth, create wonders, and then just as quickly seem to vanish. One such civilization is that of the Aztecs. Their story is not just one of emperors and warriors, but of poets, farmers, and engineers. Imagine a people, a nomadic tribe known as the Mexica, wandering for generations. They were searching for a sign, a prophecy foretold by their gods. They were looking for a specific image, an eagle perched upon a cactus, devouring a serpent. There, in the middle of a great marshy lake, they finally saw it. This was Lake Texcoco, a seemingly inhospitable place to build a city. And so, around the year 1325, they began their great work. The city they founded was called Tenochtitlan. From these humble, watery beginnings, an empire would grow. The Aztecs would transform this swampy island into one of the most magnificent cities on Earth. To connect their island city to the mainland, the Aztecs built enormous causeways. These were wide, straight roads built from stone and earth that stretched for miles across the water. More than just roads, they were strategic fortifications, featuring removable bridges that could be raised during an attack, turning the lake into a massive defensive moat. Within the city itself, the Aztecs created a network of canals that served as liquid streets. Instead of walking, people often traveled by canoe, gliding silently through the waterways. This system was fed by massive aqueducts that brought fresh water into the city for drinking and bathing, a true marvel of hydraulic engineering. At its peak, Tenochtitlan was one of the largest cities in the world. It was larger than any European capital of the time, with a population of perhaps 200,000 people. The first Europeans to see it were awestruck, calling it an enchanted vision from a dream, a city built on water. For the common people of the Aztec Empire, life followed the steady rhythm of the seasons and the demands of the gods. The family was the cornerstone of society, organized into clans called calpulli, which controlled land and provided a vital sense of community and identity for its members. Education was highly valued in Aztec society and compulsory for both boys and girls. Children from common families attended a school called the Telpoch-Cali. Here they learned history, religious traditions and civic duties. Noble children attended the more elite Calmecac, receiving advanced training to become priests and leaders of the empire. Women managed the household, a demanding job involving grinding maize for hours each day to make tortillas, weaving cloth for the family's clothes and raising the children. But they also held economic power, able to own property, run businesses, and participate actively in the vibrant marketplace economy as merchants and artisans. Perhaps their most remarkable achievement was a unique system of agriculture, the famous chinampas. Often called floating gardens, they were small, man-made islands built up from the nutrient-rich mud of the shallow lake. On these incredibly fertile plots, they grew maize, beans, squash, tomatoes and chilies. The chinampas were so productive they could yield multiple harvests a year, making them one of the most efficient farming systems ever invented and the key to sustaining the great city. At the very center of Tenochtitlan lay the sacred precinct, home to the Templo Mayor or Great Temple. This was a colossal stepped pyramid, a symbolic mountain constantly rebuilt by successive rulers. On its summit stood two temples, one painted red for Huitzilopochtli, the god of war and the sun, the other in blue for Tlaloc, the god of rain. Aztec artists were masters of many forms. They carved intricate sculptures from stone, depicting their gods with a mixture of human and animal features, creating images that were both fearsome and awe-inspiring. One of the most famous examples is the magnificent sunstone. This massive carved disc is not just a calendar, but a complex map of their cosmology, showing the cyclical nature of creation and destruction. Religion was at the very center of Aztec existence, influencing every aspect of their lives. They worshipped a large and complex pantheon of gods, including Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent, a god of wisdom, and his rival Tezcatlipoca, the smoking mirror, a god of night and destiny. The Aztecs believed that the most precious substance they could offer the gods was chalchihuatl, or precious water, which was human blood. This stemmed from their core belief that the gods had sacrificed themselves to create the world. To keep the cosmos in balance, this divine debt had to be repaid. They saw sacrifice not as an act of cruelty, but as a vital necessity to maintain the balance of the universe. This cosmic responsibility was most dramatically expressed in the new fire ceremony, held every 52 years. As the calendar cycle ended, a great fear fell over the empire. All fires were extinguished as people waited in darkness, praying the world would not end. When the stars aligned correctly, a new fire was lit on the chest of a sacrificial victim, and from this flame messengers would carry fire back to every home, signaling the renewal of the world. At the heart of the empire's power were its elite warrior societies. The most famous were the Eagle Warriors and the Jaguar Warriors, prestigious military orders whose status was earned by capturing enemies. The Eagles wore spectacular costumes of feathers, representing the sun and sky. The Jaguars wore the pelts of jaguars, a predator that symbolized strength. These uniforms were believed to bestow the warrior with the spirit of their namesake animal. Armed with obsidian-bladed clubs called macuahuitl and padded cotton armor, these warriors formed the army's shock troops. Their weapons were designed to maim, as capturing prisoners for sacrifice was a greater feat than killing. This practice was the path to glory, and supplied the victims needed to fulfill their sacred duty to the gods. In 1519, the omens that had unsettled the Aztec Empire seemed to manifest in a terrifyingly real form. A small fleet of Spanish ships, carrying around 500 soldiers and 16 horses, appeared on the eastern coast. They were commanded by a man whose name would become synonymous with the Aztecs' fate, Hernán Cortés. The Spanish were a sight of profound shock. With their pale skin, beards and gleaming metal armor, they were utterly alien. Their horses moved with terrifying speed and their firearms cracked like thunder. To the Aztecs, who had never seen such things, they appeared to be more than men. When news reached the great Tlatoani Moctezuma, he was paralyzed by uncertainty. Was this the prophesied return of the god Quetzalcoatl? He sent emissaries with magnificent gifts of gold and silver, hoping to placate the strangers. Instead, the display of wealth only inflamed Spanish ambition, luring them inland towards the glittering capital he had hoped to protect. Cortés was a cunning strategist. He quickly perceived the deep resentment many subjugated peoples felt towards their Aztec overlords, who demanded heavy tribute and sacrificial captives. He forged a crucial alliance with the Tlaxcalans, a powerful group who had fiercely resisted Aztec rule. With thousands of indigenous warriors, the small Spanish force became a massive army. The path to conquest was not simple. After being driven from the city on the Noche Triste, or Night of Sorrows, Cortés regrouped and returned to lay siege. He cut off the causeways, blocking all food and water. But the most devastating weapon was invisible: smallpox. The disease, to which the population had no immunity, swept through the city, killing countless people and leaving the defenders catastrophically weakened before the final assault. Despite the famine and disease, the Aztecs, led by the heroic young Emperor Cuauhtémoc, mounted a courageous defense, but the odds were insurmountable. In August of 1521, Tenochtitlan fell. The magnificent city was systematically razed, its temples toppled, and the great Aztec Empire was no more. The fall of Tenochtitlan marked the end of the empire, but not its people or culture. In a powerful act of dominance, the Spanish built their new capital, Mexico City, directly on the ruins. Stones from the desecrated Templo Mayor were used to construct the new cathedral, a physical layering that defines the city today. The name Mexico itself comes from the Mexica people, and the image from their founding legend, the eagle on the cactus, is proudly displayed on the Mexican flag today, a powerful symbol of national identity and resilience. The influence of the Aztecs is all around us. Their language, Nahuatl, is still spoken, and its words have traveled the globe. Terms like chocolate, tomato, chili, and avocado are all gifts from the Aztec world. reminders of the rich culinary and cultural heritage they cultivated. For centuries, the Aztec capital lay buried, but modern archaeology continues to peel back the layers of time. The rediscovery of the Templo Mayor in 1978 was a pivotal moment. Each new find allows us to see past biased accounts and appreciate the true complexity and sophistication of their society. The story of the Aztecs is a powerful reminder of the heights civilizations can achieve and the fragility of their existence. Their legacy is not just one of ruins and artifacts. It is a living heritage woven into the fabric of modern Mexico. It persists in the faces of its people, the flavors of its food, and the spirit of its identity. The echoes of their world can still be heard, a testament to a people who, guided by a vision, built a universe that has never truly vanished.